13 How to invoke magic when you express gentleness and precision in your environment, then real brilliance and power can descend onto that situation. If you try to manufacture that presence out of your own ego, it will never happen. You cannot own the power and the magic of this world. It is always available, but it does not belong to anyone. The phenomenal world that all human beings experience is fickle and flexible, and also merciless. You often wonder whether you can ride on that fickle and merciless situation or whether it is going to ride on you. To use an analogy, either you are riding on a donkey or the donkey is riding on you. Ordinarily, in your experience of the world, it is questionable who is riding on whom. The more you struggle to gain the upper hand, the more speed and aggression you manufacture to overcome your obstacles, the more you become subject to the phenomenal world. The real challenge is to transcend that duality altogether. It is possible to contact energy that is beyond dualism, beyond aggression, energy that is neither for you nor against you. That is the energy of Drala. Drala is not a god or spirit, but fundamentally it is connecting the wisdom of your own being with the power of things as they are. If you are able to connect those two things, out of that you can discover magic in everything. But there is still a question as to what it is that allows you to make that connection. In the last chapter, the Drala principle was likened to the sun. Although the sun is always in the sky, what is it that causes you to look up and see that it is there? Although magic is always available, what allows you to discover it? The basic definition of Drala is energy beyond aggression. The only way to contact that energy is to experience a gentle state of being in yourself. So the discovery of Drala is not coincidental. To connect with the fundamental magic of reality, there has to be gentleness and openness in you already. Otherwise, there is no way to recognize the energy of non-aggression, the energy of Drala, in the world. So the individual training and discipline of the Shambhala warrior are the necessary foundation for experiencing Drala. The setting sun world, based on fear of oneself and fear of death, has no connection to Drala principle. The cowardice and aggression of the setting sun outlook actually dispel any magical possibilities, any possibilities of experiencing the genuine and brilliant qualities of reality. The opposite of setting sun outlook and the way to invoke Drala is to manifest the vision of the Great Eastern Sunday. Great Eastern Sun vision, which we discussed in earlier chapters, is the expression of true human goodness, based not on arrogance or aggression, but on gentleness and openness. It is the way of the warrior. The essence of this way or path is transcending cowardice and manifesting bravery. That is the best and only way to invoke Drala, by creating an atmosphere of bravery. We have already talked in earlier chapters about the qualities of bravery. The fundamental aspect of bravery is being without deception. Deception in this case is self-deception, doubting yourself so that you are cut off from the vision of the Great Eastern Sunday. The Drala can only descend onto your existence when you have properly prepared the ground. If there is the slightest deception, you will dispel Drala. From that point of view, deception is the magic of the setting sun. Usually if we say someone is brave, we mean that he is not afraid of any enemy, or he is willing to die for a cause, or he is never intimidated. The Shambhala understanding of bravery is quite different. Here bravery is the courage to live in the world without any deception, and with tremendous kindness and caring for others. You might wonder how this can bring magic into your life. The ordinary idea of magic is that you can conquer the elements so that you can turn earth into fire or fire into water, or ignore the law of gravity and fly. But true magic is the magic of reality, as it is the earth of earth, the water of water, communicating with the elements so that in some sense they become one with you. When you develop bravery, you make a connection with the elemental quality of existence. bravery begins to heighten your existence, that is, to bring out the brilliant and genuine qualities of your environment and of your own being. So you begin to contact the magic of reality which is already there in some sense. You actually can attract the power and strength and the primordial wisdom that arise from the cosmic mirror. At that point you begin to see how you can influence your environment so that the Drala principle is reflected in every activity of your life. You see that you can actually organize your life in such a way that you magnetize magic, or Drala, to manifest brilliance and elegance in your world. The way to do this is divided into 3 parts, which are called the 3 ways to invoke Drala. The first is invoking external Drala, which is invoking a magic in your physical environment. This may be as small and limited as a one-room apartment or as large as a mansion or a hotel. How you organize and care for that space is very important. If it is chaotic and messy, then no Drala will enter into that environment. On the other hand, we are not talking about taking a course in interior decoration and spending a great deal of money on furniture and rugs to create a model environment. For the warrior, invoking external Drala is creating harmony in your environment in order to encourage awareness and attention to detail. In that way, your physical environment promotes your discipline of warriorship. Beyond that, how you organize your physical space should be based on concern for others, sharing your world by creating an accommodating environment. The point is not to make a self-conscious statement about yourself, but to make your world available to others. When that begins to happen, then it is possible that something else will come along as well. That is, when you express gentleness and precision in your environment, then real brilliance and power can descend onto that situation. If you try to manufacture that presence out of your own ego, it will never happen. You cannot own the power and the magic of this world. It is always available, but it does not belong to anyone. There are many other examples of invoking external Drala. I have read, for instance, that some American Indians in the Southwest grow vegetables in the desert sands. The soil, from an objective standpoint, is completely infertile. If you just threw a handful of seeds into that earth, nothing would grow. But the Indians have been cultivating that soil for generations. They have a deep connection to that earth and they care for it. To them it is sacred ground, and because of that their plants grow. That is real magic. The attitude of sacredness towards your environment will bring Drala. You may live in a dirt hut with no floor and only one window, but if you regard that space as sacred, if you care for it with your heart and mind, then it will be a palace. The idea of sacred space is also what gives grandeur to a great cathedral, like Charter, or to a house of government, like the English Houses of Parliament. Churches are consciously built as sacred places, whereas a house of government may never have been conceived of as sacred by its architects. Nevertheless, those places have a presence that is more than the structure of the building or the beauty of the materials used to construct them. They radiate a particular atmosphere that you cannot help but feel. The Greeks and the Romans laid out their cities with some understanding of external Drala. You might say that putting a fountain in the center of a square or at a crossroads is a random choice. But when you come upon that fountain, it does not feel random at all. It is in its own proper place and it seems to enhance the space around it. In modern times, we don't think very highly of the Romans, with all of their debauchery and corrupt rulers. We tend to downplay the wisdom of their culture. Certainly, corruption dispels Drala. But there was some power and wisdom in the Roman civilization which we should not overlook. In summary, invoking the external Drala principle is connected with organizing your environment so that it becomes a sacred space. This begins with the organization of your personal household environment, and beyond that, it can include much larger environments, such as a city or even an entire country. Then there is invoking internal drala, which is how to invoke drala in your body. Basically, the experience of internal drala is that you feel oneness in your body, oneness in the sense that your head, your shoulders, your torso, your arms, your genitals, your knees, your legs, and your toes all hang together as one basically good human body. You feel no quarrel between your head and shoulders, between your toes and leg, and so forth. It doesn't really matter whether your hair is growing grey or you are developing wrinkles on your face or your hands are shaky. There is still a feeling that your body has its own fitness, its own unity. When you look, you hear. When you hear, you smell. When you smell, you taste. When you taste, you feel. All of your sense perceptions work as one unit, as one basic goodness, one expression of basic health. You invoke internal drala through your relationship to your personal habits, how you handle the details of dressing, eating, drinking, sleeping. We could use clothing as an example. For the warrior, clothing actually provides an armor of discipline, which wards off attacks from the setting sun world. It is not that you hide behind your clothes because you are afraid to manifest yourself as a good warrior, but rather that when you wear good, well-fit clothes, your clothing can both ward off casualness and invite tremendous dignity. Sometimes if your clothes fit you well, you feel that they are too tight. If you dress up, you may feel constricted by wearing a necktie or a suit or a tight-fitting skirt or dress. The idea of invoking internal drala is not to give in to the allure of casualness. The occasional irritation coming from your neck, the crotch of your pants, or your waist is usually a good sign. It means that your clothes fit you well, but your neurosis doesn't fit your clothes. The modern approach is often free and casual. That is the attraction of polyester leisure suits. You feel stiff if you are dressed up. You are tempted to take off your tie or your jacket or your shoes. Then you can hang out and put your feet on the table and act freely, hoping that your mind will act freely at the same time. But at that point your mind begins to dribble. It begins to leak, and garbage of all kinds comes out of your mind. That version of relaxation does not provide real freedom at all. Therefore, for the warrior, wearing well-fit clothing is regarded as wearing a suit of armor. How you dress can actually invoke upliftedness and grace. Internal drala also comes out of making a proper relationship to food, by taking an interest in your diet. This does not necessarily mean that you should shop around for the best gourmet items. But you can take the time to plan good, nutritious meals, and you can enjoy cooking your food, eating it, and then cleaning up and putting the leftovers away. Beyond that, you invoke internal drala by developing greater awareness of how you use your mouth altogether. You put food in your mouth. You drink liquids through your mouth. You smoke cigarette in your mouth. It is as if the mouth were a big hole or a big garbage pail. You put everything through it. Your mouth is the biggest gate. You talk out of it, you cry out of it, and you kiss out of it. You use your mouth so much that it becomes a sort of cosmic gateway. Imagine that you were being watched by Martians. They would be amazed by how much you use your mouth. To invoke internal drala, you have to pay attention to how you use your mouth. Maybe you don't need to use it as much as you think. Appreciating your world doesn't mean that you must consume everything you see all the time. When you eat, you can eat slowly and moderately, and you can appreciate what you eat. When you talk, it isn't necessary to continually blurt out everything that is on your mind. You can say what you have to say, gently, and then you can stop. You can let someone else talk, or you can appreciate the silence. The basic idea of invoking internal drala is that you can synchronize or harmonize your body and your connection to the phenomenal world. This synchronization or connectedness is something that you can actually see. You can see people's connection to internal jhana by the way they behave, the way they pick up their teacups, the way they smoke their cigarette, or the way they run their hands through their hair. Whatever you do always manifests how you are feeling about yourself and your environment, whether you feel kindness towards yourself or resentment and anger towards yourself, whether you feel good about your environment or whether you feel bad about your environment. That can always be detected by your gait and your gestures always. It is as if you were married to your phenomenal world. All the little details, the way you turn on the tap before you take a shower, the way you brush your teeth reflect your connection or disconnection with the world. When that connection is completely synchronized, then you are experiencing internal jhana. Finally, there is what is known as invoking secret jhana, which is the product of invoking the external and internal jhana principles. Because you have created a sacred environment around you and because you have synchronized your body so beautifully, so immaculately, therefore you provoke tremendous wakefulness, tremendous nowness in your state of mind. The chapter Letting Go introduced the idea of wind horse or riding on the energy of basic goodness in your life. Wind horse is the translation of the Tibetan Langta. Lang means wind and ta means horse. Invoking secret jhana is the experience of raising wind horse, raising wind of delight and power and riding on or conquering that energy. Such wind can come with great force like a typhoon that can blow down trees and buildings and create huge waves in the water. The personal experience of this wind comes as a feeling of being completely and powerfully in the present. The horse aspect is that in spite of the power of this great wind, you also feel stability. You are never swayed by the confusion of life, never swayed by excitement or depression. You can ride on the energy of your life. So wind horse is not purely movement and speed, but it includes practicality and discrimination, a natural sense of skill. This quality of Langta is like the four legs of a horse, which make it stable and balanced. Of course, in this case you are not riding an ordinary horse. You are riding a wind horse. By invoking the external and internal jhana principles, you raise a wind of energy and delight in your life. You begin to feel natural power and upliftedness manifesting in your existence. Then, having raised your wind horse, you can accommodate whatever arises in your state of mind. There is no problem or hesitation of any kind. So the fruition of invoking secret jhana is that, having raised wind horse, you experience a state of mind that is free from subconscious gossip, free from hesitation and disbelief. You experience the very moment of your state of mind. It is fresh and youthful and virginal. That very moment is innocent and genuine. It does not contain doubt or disbelief at all. It is gullible in the positive sense, and it is completely fresh. Secret jhana is experiencing that very moment of your state of mind, which is the essence of nowness. You actually experience being able to connect yourself to the inconceivable vision and wisdom of the cosmic mirror on the spot. At the same time, you realize that this experience of nowness can join together the vastness of primordial wisdom with both the wisdom of past traditions and the realities of contemporary life. So in that way, you begin to see how a warrior's world of sacredness can be created altogether. In the following chapters, we will investigate that world more thoroughly.